What's going on, guys, here at the range today to talk about the MP5. I've been waiting to see for over a year now, the new-ish Mac MP5. Alright, so here it is. This is what I covered at SHOT Show last year. So that would have been 2024 SHOT Show. Seeing it in person and going over it, it looks really clean. I mean, the fit and finish seems pretty good. The welds on this thing in person at the show looked really nice. So it just came together really well. And you know, not always if something looks good is it going to function well, but that was what I wanted to see. I want to say, like, look, this thing is coming in at a really great price point for people who can't break the bank and spend, you know, $2K plus on a roller delay MP5 style gun. And, you know, to bring into market at like $1,000, $1,200, and to get somebody this is just amazing. So I wanted to see if it just lived up to what I imagined it would be, just an affordable version of a roller lock MP5 that is going to run for someone who doesn't want to do their own build out of a parts kit and spend thousands of dollars, or go for something like, you know, the name brand of like HK and spend money that way. So we're going to go over it. We're going to talk about a couple things. The other stuff I want to talk about is stuff I covered at SHOT Show this year, the Leapers UTG Pro MP5 light mount and their low profile pick rail mount. So we're going to talk about that stuff today and just kind of go over how I've set this up and, you know, see if it's going to run, see if it's going to function well. I have shot this before on a reel on Instagram, no issues. The only thing that gave me a little problem were these mags that are there. They're branded as theirs, Mac mags. They were giving me a hard time seating even just empty. Like, to put it in here, it doesn't want to just easily go in, even if the bolt was to the rear. It just doesn't want to get in there right. So not really sure what that's about. It will go in and lock if you kind of hit it at the right angle. But I did bring an HK mag with me today to see if it's just something that's a little off in the mag well as far as locking up, or if it's just the mag. So that time it locked in fine. And I have got it to lock in on the bolt closed as well on this particular mag. So it did come in this nice hard plastic box, and it came with a bunch of stuff. You know, you got the manual here. It did ship with a slimline front handguard that's actually pretty good texturing. I don't know if I've never seen one exactly that knurled, but so they may have just added that themselves. It was pretty aggressive. I've seen a few slim lines and they've not been that aggressive, but I mean, hey, could be. It could just be they manufactured it that way. Came with a nice little toolkit here, brush and stuff. Did come with the flash hider that a lot of the clones are shipping with now. I mean, it's pretty cool. I don't run them a lot. I have them on one setup, but it is a nice little plus. It does do what it's supposed to do, so that's great. Comes with a couple extra magazines. So it comes with 2 magazines, a sling, a little oil bottle, and this trigger guard lock. But again, I mean, the box is nice. And here is my German mag, so we're going to try that out too and just kind of see how it goes. But overall, the presentation on this thing is just really nice. It's a nice little kit. It's a nice little kit for still, again, like, you know, $1,200. You know, that sub $1,500 price point is just it's a good overall package to get you started out in this roller lock game. All right, so I'm going to try to switch the mag. Here's the German mag. See how this locks up, and it may just be that it's the mag well. That was easy first try. Bolt open. Ooh. Yeah, got it in that time. Let's do bolt closed, see what happens. I should be able to insert on a closed bolt with no ammo. It worked. So my example just is a little, magwell's just a little wonky. It locks. It just doesn't lock easily all the time. You kind of got to get it. There we go. Maybe I'm not. I shouldn't have to push it in that hard. I mean, if you're just somebody that just wants to come to the range and do this, a finicky magwell, it's not the end of the world. You know, you can live with it. You can work around that. Now, if this is something that you're going to use maybe as a home defense setup, then I would be a little concerned, because if you're not going to, if you're going to do that, you're going to leave the mag in the gun more than likely. Not necessarily going to have to change a mag. Hopefully not. But if you do, I mean, you might find that it can be a little tricky. But again, this is just my example. Other than that, so far, this is the only ding I'm going to give the gun, is just magwell and magazine lockup. All right, got 10 rounds in. We're running the SB Tactical on here. It's a nice setup. Something else to note, so on the SEF lower, contour grip SEF lower, this particular sample I have here has a pretty positive but also pretty stiff safety. So some people are going to like that, some people aren't. It just takes a lot of force to kind of break that down. But as you heard, it's really positive. It takes more than usual force for me that I'm used to. But I'm used to the Navy packs. It's a little different. But I mean, it's not bad. It'll loosen up over time, I'm sure. It's just, it's stiff. It's just stiff. So it could just be mine. Again, not a ding, just pointing out that this particular one has a stiff safety. So let's run it here, a couple. I got 10 rounds in. See how it goes. Good, no failures. To be expected. Man, I don't know what's going on with this one. There you go. It's like a weird little, I don't know. But first shots on this video, good so far. All right, so I do want to touch on this Leaper's light mount here. So as you can see, the way it mounts is on the front of the hood there. It's got a couple screws, just attaches on the front and then just sits on the top. It's a really slick setup. They introduced this at SHOT Show 2025, so this year, and I saw it at the booth and I'm like, man, it's really sleek, it's really clean, because what this affords you to do is not change out a handguard for something maybe you don't want to, or spend the extra money on buying like a crazy setup M-LOK aluminum handguard or whatever. It just gives you the option to give you that sleek silhouette of the MP5, but modernize it just a touch with a light or laser, whatever you want to put on there, switches, put it on the top, M-LOK on the top, M-LOK on the slides, and M-LOK over here on the 45. So set it up however you want. I mean, I put a light on the 45 up top here, and then around on the other side, put the switch on the offset of the 45 on a pick rail, because for me, I didn't have one of those long top tape switches to run over top the middle, which would be perfect for this, because then you can just kind of have your thumb right in the middle there, depending on how long your switch, if you have dual function, whatever it is. But mine, I just had the single button here. So what I wanted to do was, I like mostly when I use my switches on the side of the handguard here, up top, somewhere easy I can get to it. Just a natural thumb ergonomic position for me. So right here, even though it sits just a little higher because it has to go on a pick rail, there, so the switch sits up a little higher, it's still pretty natural because I'm coming in here. If I don't want the light, my hand stays down just per normal on an MP5, but if I need the light, all I gotta do is come up and hit the switch with my thumb right there. I can rest my thumb on the switch if I want, and just, you know, pop it when I need to. I just think it's a really, really great setup. And for only like, God, I think this thing is like 80 bucks, maybe less for this piece. It's really a nice option to keep it classic, but still throw a light or a laser or whatever you want to put on. The other thing is, people have asked, you know, is it is it sharp? I mean, metal, this is right next to your charging handle. So when you gotta manipulate this thing, whether you come up and use your pointer finger and your thumb, or you're a pinky guy and come up with your hand and pinky like that, it just, is it gonna cut you? And it's not. If you can tell in here, it's a really smooth chamfered edges. So there's no sharp angles on that. So even when I'm running it without gloves, when I did it in the Instagram reel, easy fingers, however you want to manipulate it, it's just a smooth surface. You can't even tell you're running your finger against it. It's that smooth. So don't be concerned about cutting your hands up, because a lot of times with Picatinny rail mounts, they run close, or they're big and they're chunky, and when you go to try to charge it or slap it down, you know, you chew up your hands. So it's really nice that they went that extra mile on this. Running back to the Low Pro pick rail mount. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos or other content, they make a really nice monolithic rail that gives you M-lock on the bottom, and then runs the full length pick rail on the top with some pick rail in the back, M-lock in the front. It's a really nice setup. So what they've done is they've taken that mounting system that they used on that and transferred it over to here. So it's a really easy way to attach it. Normally on the claw mount style, on the little ridges that are on your receiver, getting those lugs in there and getting them lined up and biting down correctly it can be just some work. It just can be a hassle. So the way they've designed this, it's really nice. You just pop in, insert, it tells you which direction. They give you a little line on there, drop the screw down in. It's just really easy to mate up, and it sits really, really low. If I wasn't running an Optic on here, you can still see through the iron sights, and the pick rail is not obstructing your vision in that way. Now, since I'm running an Optic, that doesn't really matter, but it gives me a nice low footprint, and I'm not having a really raised Optic if I didn't want to go that route. With the bars on the retractable, you kind of get a lower cheek weld, so you're here, and if the optic's up too high, then I'm up too high. I'm not really getting a good stable position. Even on a 9, it just doesn't work great. So being able to come down and really rest my cheek, even on the Optic that sits a little higher in the 510C, it's still a perfect vision. I got a perfect sight picture through there. So really nice low profile mount on those guys. Be sure to check them out. UTG Pro, Leapers, coming out with cool MP5 stuff. What I've noticed on these mag changes as I'm getting used to it, if I put it in slow and not really try to jam it in there, it's been locking in first try. So let's see if it does it here this time. Didn't do it that time, it's funny. I swear off camera, it went in first try. There we go. I don't get it, not sure what's going on, but here we go. Let's take more shots. It shoots flawlessly, like you would expect a roller lock to shoot. But man, this mag issue, I don't know what's going on with it. Sometimes it's first try. Other times it just takes a couple. Guys, Monadnock Firearms. They are the go-to place for all the cool stuff that you see online. And they like the disco. I like a good disco. I'm sure we all like a good disco. So if you use Steve MP5, it'll help you out. Go get what you need. All right, guys, I don't know, man. I want to see what this is like long term. See if the mag well kind of loosens up a little bit with all of like just the running and gunning of it. But just overall thoughts is the welds are really good. These are brought in from Turkey, so it's going to be like another Turkish clone. So similar to like the MKE. I wouldn't be surprised if it's made on the same stuff that the MKE stuff is made on, to be honest with you, because a lot of that stuff is all the same companies manufacturing over there, just under different nameplates. There's nothing about it on camera and off camera that I've seen that's cause for its junk. The magwell issue could work its way better over time. So don't forget, Steve MP5. See you next time.